It's Wednesday, May 18. In the headlines, 2 cabinet ministers test positive for COVID-19. Millions of dollars to be invested in Jamaica's agriculture sector. Regionally, CARICOM leaders are in Guyana for the Agri-Investment Forum and Expo. And in sports, it's a go for the 4-day West Indies Cricket Championship. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I am Simone Absalom Gale. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Jang and Minister of Labour and Social Security Carl Samuda have tested positive for COVID-19. Minister with responsibility for information Robert Morgan says the cabinet ministers are asymptomatic. He says both men are fully vaccinated. The information minister says the elder statesmen received their positive results over the weekend. The remaining cabinet ministers have tested negative for the virus. The news comes amid an uptick in COVID-19 cases on the island. Here is an update from Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton.
On review of the epidemiological data, we can confirm that Jamaica is currently experiencing the 5th wave of COVID-19. This is based on the review of the epidemiological curves for confirmed COVID-19 cases and reproductive rates.
The minister was giving an update during a virtual press briefing on Wednesday.
This 5th wave is likely due to the Omicron subvariant BA2, given the increasing proportion of this subvariant in the population and its higher transmissibility. In the last 24 hours, we have confirmed 147 new cases, bringing our total cases on record to 133,250. Regrettably, we also recorded 2 deaths that occurred in February and April 2021, respectively. The total deaths from COVID-19 now stands at 3,013.
Some firefighters are demanding the implementation of a 3-shift 24-hour system and better healthcare. During the height of the pandemic, firefighters were allowed to work a 24-hour shift, which many favored. The management has reportedly sought to revert to the normal shift system. Some officers took to the streets outside the Ministry of Labour at National Hero Circle in protest on Tuesday.
24-hour allows us to travel once. This current situation, we'll have to travel every day. This group of firefighter, operational firefighter, there are some deep burning concerns. Honorable Brogard, we are asking you, come to the table with us because we have unions who are dormant. We have a management group who are insensitive to our needs. Inconsiderate. So hence we have to be out here. We don't have the backing of either management nor the union. We are asking for a better opportunity to save the money we have. That's all.
Players in Jamaica's agriculture sector are set to benefit from a number of initiatives being implemented by the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries. While making his contribution to the 2022-2023 sectoral debate in the House of Representatives on Tuesday, Portfolio Minister Pernell Charles Jr. said the ministry is committed to providing support to bolster food security by strengthening the country's agricultural output and improving sustainability and resilience within the sector. More from Gabriel Thompson.
The Agriculture and Fisheries Minister says the national strategy has been dubbed Grow Smart, Eat Smart. The supporting projects are to be implemented through partnership with the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, including a $38 million food loss and waste FLW reduction program that will focus on strengthening food value chain operations.
That will speak to a strategy for reducing food loss along the value chains, for supporting our farmers to reduce post-harvest loss, and extending produce shelf life to ensure enhanced farm and household cash inflows. Madam Speaker, when Usain Bolt wants to run faster, in his training, he doesn't just learn to be stronger. He learns to be more disciplined and strategic, because it's not all about going forward, it's about what's holding you back. And in this country, one of the greatest things holding us back in agriculture is our waste. And so, Madam Speaker, these projects are going to focus on ensuring that even if we don't produce not even one more crop than produced last year, we will have double the amount in results if we can use what we are now wasting.
Minister Charles says the ministry will also be collaborating with the FAO to undertake projects to improve phytosanitary, food safety, and market access opportunities along the hot pepper value chain.
With the funding of 152 million Jamaican, the improvement of rural livelihoods through resilient agri-food systems, another 152 million or 1 million US. The Rocky Point Fishing Beach Improvement Project to include landing equipment, a fish cleaning facility, storage facilities, mangrove protection, as well as trading for users. And this project is valued at 45 million Jamaican.
He says the ministry will also be providing more leases for idle agricultural lands.
We'll be advancing more linkages and partnerships. And you will be aware, Madam Speaker, that recently we handed over leases to youngsters and also handed over leases for critical areas in our Mango Agro Park to investors, all with a minimum of $20 million.
Health, training, and social support. Those are some of the ways in which the Republic of India has proven to be a valuable partner to Jamaica. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has hailed the country's continued friendship with the nation while speaking in Parliament on Tuesday.
There's also been significant support towards community development, including the approval by the Indian authorities in 2021 of a grant of US $1 million for the Kitson Town Development Project.
Mr. Holness also notes India's support in sports.
We make special note of India's contribution to development of cricket in Jamaica. Including being instrumental in providing funding for the provision of floodlights at Sabina Park so that we could have night cricket. And on your trip, Excellency, you also provided gears for some of our cricketers. We note with great appreciation.
A memorandum of understanding was signed on May 16 to increase cooperation in the field of diplomatic training. This will add to the important capacity building initiatives already being offered by India to Jamaica.
This will add to the important capacity building initiatives already being offered by India to Jamaica. We look forward to broadening our engagement at the multilateral level on issues of critical development importance.
While Jamaica and India established diplomatic relations on August 12, 1962, the country's ties date back more than 175 years to 1845, with the arrival of the first Indians at Old Harbour in St. Catherine. Opposition leader Mark Golding, in his remarks, reflected on Jamaica and India's shared history,
including commitment to the rule of law, a democratic system of government, the protection of human rights, and our membership of the Commonwealth. In international affairs, Jamaica and India were leaders in the international struggle to end the apartheid system in South Africa. And both nations helped to forge an independent, non-aligned path for developing nations amidst the political polarization of the Cold War era.
Members of both sides of the aisle issued remarks during a joint sitting of the Houses of Parliament on Tuesday, May 17. President Coven, in his address, said that Jamaica is poised for even greater economic success, bolstered by ample natural resources, a young population, and dynamic leadership. The joint parliamentary meeting was held as part of activities for the 4-day state visit to the island of President of the Republic of India, His Excellency Ram Nath Kovind. Time now for the business report with Danita Rodney.
Sagicor Group Jamaica in Q1 2022 recorded a profit attributable to shareholders of $3.82 billion, and that's 31% higher than Q1 last year in 2021. So it's a great performance.
That was President and CEO of Sagicor Jamaica, Christopher Zaka, as he spoke on the company's first quarter performance and gave a breakdown of the revenues gained. Mr. Zaka also highlighted specific divisions of the company and how well they did over the last year.
Our individual life segment was really the star. It was 89% above last year. Our employee benefits division is rebounding and had a creditable performance in the quarter. Sagicor Bank continues to perform well also. So overall, it's a good quarter, a great quarter in my view, and a lot of credit to the team that's behind these numbers.
As for the second quarter, Mr. Zaka is excited to see what is to come.
Sagicor Jamaica is a diverse group. It has the best team in the world as far as I'm concerned. And I think the outlook is good. There are, every day is something else in terms of headwinds and issues, but one part of the business will do better and another part may do worse. So overall, I'm very excited about the rest of this year and the years to come. So stay tuned for more exciting announcements throughout this year.
Now for your market updates. In foreign exchange trading for Tuesday, May 17, the US dollar sold for an average of $155.68. The Canadian dollar ended trading at $121.21. The pound sterling traded for $193.02, and the US sold for an average of $164.10. The following reflects the movement of the JSE indices in Tuesday's trading session. The JSE index declined by 1,340 points to close at over 300,000 units. The junior market index declined by 36 points to close at over 4,000 units. The combined market index declined by 1,583 points to close at over 400,000 units. And the All Jamaican Composite Index declined by 1,610 points to close at over 400,000 units. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 110 stocks, of which 45 advanced, 55 declined, and 10 traded firm. Stocks advanced for Access Financial Services Limited, Barita Investments Limited, and CAC 2000 9.5% cumulative redeemable preference shares. Stocks declined for 1834 Investments Limited, AMG Packaging and Paper Company Limited, and Blue Power Group Limited. Trading firm were 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited, Epley Limited 7.75% preference shares, and First Rock Capital Holdings Limited. The following companies represent the overall volume leaders: JFP Limited and Sagicor Select Funds Limited Financial with over 3 million units, and JMMB Group Limited with over 2 million units. In regional stocks, in Trinidad and Tobago, Clico Investment Fund was the volume leader with over 3,000 shares, followed by Calypso Macro Index Fund with 10 shares being traded. On the Barbados Stock Exchange, 0 securities were traded on Tuesday. According to energy expert Professor Anthony Bryan, the Guyana government could rake in about $200 billion or nearly 42 trillion Guyanese dollars in revenues by 2050, largely due to the oil and gas sector. More from Newsroom Guyana.
In 2018, Guyana's total government revenues were just US $1.4 billion. But now with the rapidly expanding oil and gas operations, this is estimated at US 50 to US 200 billion through 2050. So dealing with this windfall is a new experience for the Guyanese, and the government must rapidly provide the necessary legislation, institutional structures, and management for oil production. There are vast opportunities in the non-oil sector. It's the old adage, seek and ye shall find. Investment in other commodities, particularly gold, rice, bauxite, sugar, spices, palm oil, cocoa, beef, and beef products will enable the nation to diversify its economy. Investment in agriculture is a big item. Since there is agreement among CARICOM leaders that the vast agricultural landmass of Guyana can be cultivated to become the breadbasket of the region. It's not a new idea, but it's an idea whose time has come.
In market data for oil prices rose once again on expectations that easing COVID-19 restrictions in China will boost demand and as supply concerns grew. Brent crude was up $1.92 or 1.7% at $113.85 a barrel, while West Texas Intermediate crude climbed $2.69 or 2.4% to $115.09 a barrel. And that was the business report on PBCJ. I'm Danita Rodney.
In regional news, Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Keith Rowley, arrived in Guyana on Tuesday. There he met and spoke with President Dr. Irfan Ali. Dr. Rowley is in Guyana to attend a regional meeting on agriculture with other CARICOM leaders at the Agri-Investment Forum and Expo. Gordon Mosley has the report.
President Irfan Ali and Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Keith Rowley, met and held bilateral talks this afternoon at State House, moments after the Prime Minister arrived in the country ahead of the Regional Agriculture Forum and Exhibition, which opens on Thursday at the Arthur Chung Convention Center. According to a statement from Prime Minister Rowley's team, the two leaders engaged in broad, extensive bilateral talks, and they also pledged to deepen ties between Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago. It was explained that the discussions focused specifically on agriculture, energy, and national security. A memorandum of understanding covering the key issues which were discussed is to be signed and released. The Trinidadian Prime Minister was accompanied by his Foreign Affairs Minister, Dr. Amory Brown, Agriculture Minister Kazim Hussain, and Minister in the Ministry of Agriculture, Avinash Singh. President Irfan Ali was accompanied by the Minister responsible for Finance, Dr. Ashni Singh, Minister of Agriculture, Zulfikar Mustafa, Tourism, Industry and Commerce Minister, Onej Waldron, Home Affairs Minister, Robeson Ben, and Foreign Affairs Secretary, Robert Posada. Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago have been seeking to iron out relations following a tit-for-tat spat between the two countries after Vice President Barrett Jagdeo described the neighboring Twin Island Republic as a country that was falling apart. That statement by Jagdeo resulted in an official rebuke from the Trinidadian government, with the country's Foreign Affairs Minister writing Guyana's Foreign Minister on the issue. Mr. Jagdeo was not present at any of the meetings today with the Trinidadian Prime Minister.
In Antigua, blood pressure kiosks are being installed in supermarkets, the first of which was installed at the Perry Bay supermarket. The initiative is a result of a partnership between the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment and the Pan American Health Organization. More from ABS TV.
Shoppers can now get their blood pressure checked while shopping at the Perry Bay supermarket. This blood pressure kiosk not only checks your blood pressure, but gives key facts on how to control it. Making this service so accessible is crucial since hypertension is identified as the main risk factor for developing cardiovascular disease. Internal medicine specialist Dr. Camaria De Castro explained the key steps to reducing your risk of hypertension starts with choosing a balanced diet.
Limiting alcohol consumption. Avoid smoking. Engaging in regular physical aerobic activity such as brisk walking, jogging, cycling, and swimming at least 3 days per week. You must also know your numbers. Check your blood pressure each time you visit a healthcare facility.
The Pan American Health Organization's country program specialist Dr. Gemma Cherry says cardiovascular disease is the main cause of death in the Americas and gives an overview of hypertension.
Hypertension is the most important associated modifiable risk factor, accounting for 50% of cardiovascular deaths. Unfortunately, in the Americas, over a quarter of adult women and 4 in 10 adult men have hypertension, and the diagnosis, treatment, and control are suboptimal.
Perry Bay Supermarket's manager, Vaughn Challenger, expressed his optimism and excitement with the installation of the blood pressure kiosk at the location. Minister for Health, Wellness and the Environment, the Honourable Sir Malwin Joseph, says the focus on non-communicable diseases is vital since they account for 75% of deaths in the country.
Today, as I stand here at Perry Bay, it has gone up to 75%. So every time you see some activities, whether it's in the villages or it is the St. John Cemetery, 75 of the people who we bury.
The minister also recalled when he was diagnosed with hypertension at a younger age, but has since followed the advice of his doctor and has remained in good health.
In the Bahamas, the Davis administration is not ruling out plans to possibly lift the mask mandate by summer, despite the recent rise in COVID-19 cases. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Michael Darville on Tuesday expressed hopefulness when asked if it was still up for consideration. Our News Bahamas has the story.
We are always hopeful. The situation is very fluid. We are in a relatively good position despite the numbers going up. We will keep watching what's happening internationally and our tourism sector and the amount of cases that's coming in that are travel related before any final decision would be made.
As it relates to the rise in COVID-19 cases, Darville had this to say.
The cases in hospital are very low. Last week, the cases were about 11. This week, it's about 12. And that is across the board at Doctors Hospital, the Princess Margaret, and the Rand Memorial Hospital, and Sandlands Rehabilitation Center. That is good news for us. And our team are concerned about the numbers. But while that's happening, we have no plan to tighten any restrictions at this time.
In sports, Trinidad and Tobago Cricket Board President Azim Basarath says all venues are ready for the much-anticipated resumption of the 4-day West Indies Cricket Championship today, including the newest facility in Diego Martin. Trinidad and Tobago are hosting the remaining 3 rounds of the competition from May 18 to June 4, with matches at Queen's Park Oval, Brian Lara Cricket Academy, and the Diego Martin Sporting Complex. The Diego Martin Sporting Complex will host its first initial first-class cricket match today and will make its first-class debut when home team Trinidad and Tobago Red Force play Leeward Islands Hurricanes. And that's the news on PBCJ. Thank you so much for watching.